welcome back to Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris Barrett. Another Rumour Has It video. We're talking about players linked to the football club this coming transfer window. Should be a really busy window this summer when Newcastle need to strengthen. We need to go back for top 4 next season. But FFP and PSR is making things very difficult for us to sign in key positions. And one of those key positions is centre forward. Now, we've got a couple of players we've been running through. We've already gone through one the other day in the shape of a free transfer in Yacho, but we're going to talk about one now, which is Cash Money. And he's an old name from the Premier League that some of us may remember. We nearly signed him when Rafa Benitez was the manager. We're going to get stuck right into this in a second. Just before we do, a little reminder, if you haven't already, smash subscribe. I'd love you to come and join us. We're over 7,600 subs, so loads of room for you, never more. Smash that button. We're not doing more regular shows like we do when the season's on, but we are providing you with content like this Rumour Has It video. So if you like that kind of a thing, smash that notification bell so you don't miss any of the videos. All free content, but there is a membership option if you want to give a bit back to the channel and help support us bring you this great Newcastle United transfer stories. It's not ITK, it's just what's reported in the media. And this is another player who's been reported in the media, and it's this lad, Tammy Abraham. Remember him? That's right, the biggest hope of the English squad not too long ago. Ivan Toney currently occupies that particular position. But once upon a time, Tammy Abraham was the man. He was at Chelsea. He seemed to have got on loads of loan deals. He went to Bristol City. You can see there he smashed loads of goals for them, 26 goals and 48 appearances. He went to Aston Villa on loan in the Championship, had a great time with them in the Championship. He got 25 goals and 37 appearances there. Swansea, a modest return in that regard. But then he come back to Chelsea when Frank Lampard was a manager. And he looked the part. He looked the business. He was big. He was strong. He was quick. He wasn't too bad in the air. He could spin a man. He was dangerous. And he looked like he was developing a really good young centre forward, really, with loads of potential ahead of him. And then obviously Chelsea did what Chelsea do, press self-destruct, and manager goes and everything goes into disarray and all of that stuff. But Tammy Abraham ended up going over to Roma and playing for Jose Mourinho. You can see there he's been at Roma since 2021. He started like a house on fire at Roma. He couldn't miss, and he looked like he'd grown as a player. His movement was better, his touch was better, his finishing was crisper, and he couldn't miss when he was over there. Overall, he's been at Roma for 3 years now, 118 appearances, 37 goals and 13 assists. The goals have dried up a lot recently, and a lot of injuries as well. He missed huge, massive amounts of games, with his cruciate injury, I think last season or the season before. And he only managed to play 8 games last season and got 1 goal. So it's still 25% conversion rate there, as Mark's worked out on the stat computer. But the concern, I think, with Tammy is the injuries now. Cruciate injuries, as Mark rightly so said to me before we recorded this, they're not kind of what they used to be in terms of the recovery time period and the strengthening of the muscles and the ligaments afterwards. There's so much advancement in the technology and the medical treatment of them. Not apparently at our club, mind you, but hopefully we've sorted that out in the summer. But Tammy could come back even stronger, from these injury woes. But there is a few players that have been linked to the centre forward position. We've had Dominic Calvert-Lewin, which I'm not a huge fan of. I think he's kind of on the way down, to be honest with you. Iñárritu on a free is a clever bit of business, in terms of the third choice striker, if you're keeping Callum Wilson. But if we're going to sell Callum Wilson, then maybe this is the lad to bring in to replace him in that secondary striker capacity. He's 26 years old. He's coming to the peak of his powers. Maybe he needs a fresh start, a chance to play as that second choice striker and alternate and rotate games with Alexander Isak. So it gives him time to build up his fitness and obviously keep Alex fit as well. But let's have a look at Tammy's stats, and then we'll talk about the kind of fee that Roma want for him. So his goal ratio there in terms of his stats, he's in the 64th percentile. He's obviously not playing a lot of football last season. His XG is 76. His goal shot ratio is 66. Shots on target 81. So he still pulls it out in terms of getting it on target when he's shooting. His expected assists is quite high in the 70s. Shot creation chances, half decent in the 68. Key passes, he's up in the 70s there, which isn't too bad. Touches in the area in the 70s too. Progressive carries aren't massively great. He does a lot of his work kind of in that final third, edge of the box type area. So he's not a pick it up deep and run with it type of centre forward. I think Iñárritu is actually better at that than Tammy is, to be fair to him. Looking at the previous stats that we're talking about, carries in the area about 65th percentile, wins a lot of free kicks though, as you can see from the fouls one there, it's quite high in the percentiles. But in terms of the deal itself, for a player like Tammy, who's 26 years old, peak of powers ahead of him, Premier League experience, as you can see there, for 82 games for Chelsea, within that period. So he has played in the Premier League before, 11 caps and 3 goals for England. The lad can score. He does know where the onion bag is. He has developed a bit as a player, over in Serie A by playing a different level of football, playing for a great manager like Jose Mourinho, who expects more, from his centre forwards than maybe Frank Lampard did previously. So, for a fee of 26 million quid is what's been reported, and a weekly wage of about 95 grand. I think this is a deal Newcastle could do, but the question is do they want to do it? So there's other teams that are in for Tammy. I think West Ham are the favourites. Now, they really do need a centre forward. That's the one thing that they're missing in their game. Jarrett Bowen's done a great job there, but Mikel Antonio was really coming towards the end of his career, and it's just the rest of the guys they've tried that just haven't really worked. So you can see Tammy leading the line for West Ham, maybe starting most games and being their number 9, and maybe that appeals to him, gets him back to London as well, where obviously he was at Chelsea. Aston Villa apparently are showing interest as well. Maybe it's an alternative option to play, and rotate with Ollie Watkins, or maybe play with Ollie Watkins as a front two. Who knows? Maybe he fancies going back to Aston Villa because he had a successful time there previously. But the question is do Newcastle want to do this deal? So apparently Roma would be looking at 26 million quid for Tammy Abraham. With all of those games missed through injuries for me, it's a little bit of a gamble for 26 million quid. If this was 20 million or 15 million, I'd say snap the hand off. But 26 million quid is a lot of money to invest in a player who, maybe won't come back to the levels that he was at before through all his injuries. Maybe, he's not kind of top level Premier League material anymore. Maybe he's not a top 7 Premier League side anymore. Who knows? But we'll sharp see which clubs are interested in Tammy, which clubs go from. I personally wouldn't mind him as a second choice striker if we do sell Callum. Then you're looking at what Callum Wilson can offer you in terms of the player and then the injury record that both of these players have had. And if you are going to drop 26 million quid on Tammy Abraham, in my opinion, you're probably best sticking with Callum Wilson, because you're probably going to get about the same level of games out of them if Tammy's niggly injuries come back like they have done before. But let us know in the comments below what you guys think about Tammy Abraham. Would you have him? I still rate him as a player. He's big and he's strong. He can turn players. He can back into players. He's good in the air. His movement's good. His finishing's got a lot better since he's gone over to Italy as well. I think if you can get him back and get him firing, you can have a really good centre forward in the Newcastle squad there. But I think 26 million quid for a lad who's spent the last kind of season and a half really on the treatment table is a little bit much. If Roma could do a loan deal, I think that would be a really clever bit of business by Newcastle. But I don't think Roma want to loan him. I think they want cash money back for the player, so they can invest into their squad and try and maybe, bring himself a new centre forward into that equation. They've got a few players there that might be up for grabs. I think Dybala's got a release clause as well. Newcastle aren't interested in him, but he's still a very good player and really creative as well. But let us know in the comments below what you guys think about Tammy. Would you take him? Do you think he's a better option than Iniacho on a free? Is he worth 26 million? Would you sell Callum Wilson and then bring Tammy in as a replacement? Or do you think he's just as injury prone as the old CW9 himself? But let us know in the comments, guys. We always like to hear from you. Smash that in there. We'll do our best to reply. We don't ignore you like a lot of other channels do. We always try to reply to you, as long as you keep it nice, polite, and all about football. Don't get shitty. Don't be a prick or you'll get the flick, as I always say. But nobody does that in our community. We've got a really good community chat here. So yeah, feel free to comment and we'll do our best to reply. Whether we agree or disagree, doesn't matter. Your opinion's welcome here, as long as you keep it above the belt, as I say. And smash subscribe. Come and help us get to 8,000 subs. Like the video, help the channel grow. We'll be back with some more Rumour Has It banter soon. They're all piling up. There's a tournament on, so I think a lot of these deals may be delayed until the tournament's at its latter stages. But we'll cover as many of these stories as we can for Newcastle. Not ITK, just what's reported in the media. So keep it evermore, guys. Have a belter, and we'll see you later. Cheers.